Hello, and welcome to the showcase video for Retrofit Roundup 2. Unfortunately, we didn't have a lot of entries for this tourney. Maybe it was just people having, busy lives. Other things came up for a bunch of people that wanted to submit. But we do have 4 entries, so I'm just going to do it round robin style. And I wanted to take the time to showcase those that have submitted their entries. So first you get the big ship version by Akalifa, which is also Lego Puppet J on Discord. So quite a bit under budget. I believe he was working on this design rather late. And it has these wonderful large missiles that kind of fire out in a fan design. Frag missiles with some spiciness. And basically they're just sort of coming in from all directions like a big old peacock tale of death and destruction. There aren't any other weapons on this, as far as I know, as far as I've checked. All the other turrets were left out, but it's meant sort of as an aesthetic design at his entry, mostly for the other ship. And this, I think it's supposed to indicate like a stage that's just floating around outside of the other design for like dancing and like, yeah, you'll see. So I mean, it's been made walkable. Everything before is as is, hasn't been closed off or anything. It's pretty simple, pretty bare bones. Most of the effort went into the large missiles there and making the stage, just as sort of a nod to the idea of the other design, which is freaking amazing. So be prepared. Yeah. Just watching a short video here. And that's the video. And of course, there are fireworks. And, you know, a bazillion, like, floating anime pictures. Now, I have to ask, excuse me, what game that is? It looks like maybe a Fate Stay Night kind of thing. So, I mean, it's obviously a gacha game. Please fill me in. I'm curious. Yes, I might play it. But yeah, they've got spotlights on them. They're all floating around. This is like a maid cafe. You've got the dance floor with the bar with tap, you know, and then the you got there in here. I guess it's kind of like a restaurant, sort of. And you go back here, and it's like, choose which aisle you want to go to for who you want to be served by. Very maid cafe. And then back here, the pools. And it does actually have weapons, believe it or not. Even with all of this awesome, you know, decoration skill. So it's got these pretty long medium missiles here in the back. Which are alright. And also here in the front. And then it has these here on the side. And I wanted to show off how he did these fireworks because it's pretty ingenious in my opinion. I've never seen it done before. And so there's this piston set on a timer, right? And then automated control blocks for ammo controllers. And I'm guessing that's setting like the color and distance maybe for the, you know, what fireworks are being fired. Because you notice they're kind of like rainbow colored and all exploding a little bit different times. But yes, this is freaking amazing. I love it. A very nice aesthetic design. And we'll see how it does in combat too. And then of course up here there's like an area to watch idle performances and such. It's pretty great. But yes, so I think this is probably the prettiest of the entries. And that's for Akalifa or Lego Puppet J on Discord. Next up, Blender Guys. And these are a bit more functional in their design. So we have to talk about the weaponry more. Here we've got these big old 400mm rail. I think they're rail guns. Quite a bit of charge. Well, in my opinion. I mean, there are more powerful, but for this size of ship, that's quite a bit of charge. I wanted to look here. Oh, okay, so yeah, they're pure rails, no rail boost. So yeah, okay, so these are AP stuff. APHE frag. Yeah. Okay. And yeah, same thing there. We've got some missiles here on the sides. They're just explosive with a little bit of reinforcing. Back here we have some mortars that are set up sidewise. And, well, I mean, yeah, accuracy, it's a thing. Shell speed's pretty low, which is probably good for close quarters mortars. Kinetic damage, not that much. It's more for the explosive damage. Yeah. But mortar hits, they should be pretty good against the not very mobile targets. Back here we've got a Sea-Wiz, 51.2, and these are flak. So they're set with, of course, timed fuse. Flak, it's a big radius, so they're basically, I guess, intended for expected missile swarms, which is certainly reasonable. The ship here was sort of set up with missiles in mind with these side openings. We've got a particle cannon down below, which is piercing. It's just a big old tangled, twisted mass of piping and conspiracy. Got the ammo storage back here in the back. That was added in. And a bunch of, warners and little detection bits and bobs. Oh, yes, there were also, I forget, torpedoes, side-launching torpedoes, which are fairly chunky health-wise. As far as damage goes, yeah, I like that. And yeah, there's inside here, there is a lamb's room. And walk through that. Back side, there's some more lamb's components. Back here. So I think this lamb system probably rivals my own size-wise, if not exceeds it. It's a little hard to tell. Let's take a look at the stats here. So it's a 3Q. Mine is a 0Q. 104,000. shot 2600. 40 AP, so yeah. Alrighty. That'll hold off some of those missile barrages. And probably a good idea bringing in APS for this particular tournament. It's enough expected missile swarming that, well, you deal with that as you can. So, second vehicle for Blunder Guy, the Battle Barge Dignitatis. And this is rather faithful to the design that the hull came from, I believe. I haven't actually played the game, but it just visually looks very similar. So, we got the small launchers. They're just missile interceptors, which, yeah, smart idea there. We have these APS long boys. Oh, okay. A bit of a party mix. Not egregiously party mix, but like, yeah, just that little bit of frag thrown in. Pen depth fuse. Okay. Interesting shell. Yeah, that's interesting. Very accurate, but hey. Inaccuracy 0.42. Yeah. Then again, things in this particular tourney are probably moving fairly slow. This design doesn't lend itself greatly towards speed. And then you've got these that are doing a bit of explosive damage, a bit of frag damage. Hey, I mean, these are like normal crams to me. So, I mean, nothing fancy or anything. It's just saturation type crams. Like, you get a lot of hits and it wears the opponent down. And then inside, it's nothing fancy. Yeah, okay. Get mine in there. I think, oh, did I build that on alpha? Oh, here we are. Alright, so, yeah, here's my design for the main ship. I just basically threw a little bit of camo on. So this is some, I'm not sure if I kept it DP Suez or not. I think I did. 51mm. And yeah, it's set up for DP Suez. Have a bit of smoke, a bit of chaff. Here I have my lamb system turrets, and these short-range lasers are set both for the lambs and as offense. So it's trying to move in really close and tickle the opponent with laser fire. I have shields set like outwardsly. You can kind of barely see that, but that's sort of intended so that as things come in, the lambs can take care of things that are coming in above them without trouble. I've got some large sort of distraction sticks. They're fair but not great, you know. Bunch of chaff, some EMP protection. This is nothing special. It's a disruptor conduit, so it's not firing very fast. It's not firing to its full potential to keep within the EMP restrictions, but I figured the disruptor conduit would be helpful in taking care of shields, because that I expected people to be using. And then down here, this unfortunately doesn't get to see a lot of use because it's a front sider and the front is usually blocked off. However, I can aim at the secondary targets. I haven't turned it into a 3v3 yet, so we'll see if it fares better there. And it's using Super Cav. Sybil. So, yeah, just a little bit of a sandblaster there. And then jet engines. Yes, it is faster than it started. So it's trying to get up to the target quite quickly. And I've got my short-range missiles. They're vertical launch, then they one turn and basically come down at the enemy. And let's see, for my LAM system, it's holding a bit more power than we saw in the other LAMs, but the damage of the next shot, of course, is lower, being 0Q rather than 3Q. Oh yeah, okay, and got the two of them. And yeah, inside, I've sort of partitioned things off a bit. So adding, you know, an ablative layer in case anybody brought hash or heat, which I don't actually think anybody did. And then my LAM system crowded in here. And the big old missiles. Distraction sticks. Yeah. So, oh right, one more thing. Just not insubstantial. I've added these large torpedoes down below. And with it being a front-sider, they are generally always going to be pointed towards the opponent. Nothing fancy as far as covering them, and again, it's getting close and personal. Yeah, I do have these torpedoes as well, which sort of circle around, and I mean, I decided, hey, propellers would be better. So, thusly, there they are. And my version of the battle barge is pretty simple. Slightly ancient oriental-ish in design. I mean, I tried to be just a little bit aesthetic. I didn't go overboard. And of course I got my detection tower up here, which will point at the enemy. This top section turns. Got the big old gate here, just for aesthetics. And then I think like the only weapons on this are these 8 large missiles. So they're remote guided. And basically they try and go in and tickle the opponent. But a lot of times where they end up missing and floating around like in circles, which is okay. And then I just have this simple like CWIS setup. Simple weapon CWIS. It's not going to do a lot. Hopefully it might pop some small missiles or something. But yeah, bunch of chaff all around the ship. I think I've got some smoke in here too. Yep, smoke as well. In case anybody else decided to bring lasers. I think the chaff's going to be a lot more useful, though. And then, where's... Ah, here are Vic nuts. We have a missile barge, essentially, and this is a big old scary gigantic missile that yeah, it can do a lot of damage. It's basically a doom cram in a certain sense. Got the top firing interceptors, bunch of shields around. Wedge armor here in the front, which is probably gonna make kinetics very difficult to get into the main missile battery, which is just a ton of these medium missiles, which, yeah, vertical fire, beam riders, with, I'm not sure how the beam rider's gonna fare with them being vertical launch. I know if they're off angle of the beam, that doesn't always work, so we'll see if they work well or not. And was there anything else added in? Oh yes, back in the back. Okay, just some torpedo interceptors. Oh, and in the center, well, more missile interceptors, which is probably smart considering the amount of expected missiles. So yeah, like, I don't know who didn't bring missiles, really. And I've just got the open turret. So, missile barge, boxy scorpion. And an actually reasonably fast barge. Well, I mean, you know, relatively. I'd consider this a pretty fast barge from where it started. And okay, so it's got this gun here in the front. Shows I love that, like, the auto loader limit, the ammo intake limit, and the cooling limit are all exactly the same. That makes me happy. It appeases my little FTD compulsiveness streak. Big ol' 500 millimeter, big shell power, which, take a look at here. It looks like some APHE. Oh, with an emergency ejection defuse. Yeah, that's nice. That's a good idea for big APS turrets that use chem. And there's nothing much fancy. Obey detection. I mean, the top is just left open. It's fairly bare bones. Torpedo interceptors there in the back. Try and make sure I'm not missing anything. I don't think so. Just a little bit more, well, I mean, good wedge protection up front. It's all around though. It's a bit more protected. The open gap has been filled in. And it's got a little bit more speed too. But I think that this is the only weapon on it, as far as I can tell. But then again, it is fairly powerful. So, you know, putting your eggs in one basket, sometimes it's actually a good thing. The power can increase substantially. It's just, if it gets taken out, well, then it's done for. But it can also deal a lot more damage in many cases than spreading it out against across multiple smaller, more ineffectual weapons. So we shall see how it does. Okay, I'm gonna call this video, and then I'm gonna just dive right into the round robin and start. So, well, I would say until next time, enjoy, but until like a few minutes later, enjoy.